This video shows you how to do skill exercise 0, which is this sketch on the screen. This is the finished sketch, so I'm going to start by creating a new part, which is going to be an inch part. So new inch part. Just double click on that. This is my origin. I don't have the origin lines showing right now, so don't worry about that. Your screen will have the horizontal and vertical black lines showing the origin axes. All right, so I already have my sketch started, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to make sure it starts on the origin by waiting until that cursor turns green. And I'm going to zoom out so that I can get it to be approximately where I need it to be. Good enough. And I'm going to start dimensioning this just to get that out of the way. So click the line, and now you can click the distance down. I'm going to type 5. If you notice for this one, I clicked on the line itself. There, it's 5. I'm going to zoom out. And now this time I'm going to click, just to show you that there are two options. You can click the distance between those two lines. It's the same as clicking, almost the same as clicking this line. And I'll put that as 3. Okay. The next thing is we need lines going through. Now I'm going to do one at a time. So I'm going to do this vertical one by finding the midpoint. So I waited until both ends of that line snap to the midpoint of that line, and I'm going to click that down. Hit escape. And now to get that circle in the middle of this rectangle, I am going to create a circle. Watch until the cursor turns green. Click once for the middle of the circle, and then drag it out. Click a second time, and now you have a circle. I'm going to hit escape to get out of the circle tool, and I'll dimension the circle. That is 1.5. Hit escape again. Okay. But on the drawing, this part of the line is missing. So there are these tools up here under Modify that you'll use a lot. Trim and extend. So trim is like cutting a line. You can see it in this picture here. Is that it will cut the line up to the next border, and it finds those borders for you. So if you look, it shows you in red lines what it's going to cut. It's like a preview. I could do this, and it will cut away half the circle. This would cut away the other half of the circle. If I click up here, it will cut that part of the line, but I want this to be cut, so I'm going to click there. Done. And now look, we went to 4 dimensions needed. Before that, we were fully constrained. The reason for that is when you trimmed this, you had found the midpoint of that line and put the circle on the midpoint. Well, now there's not a line there, so the midpoint constraint is gone. So hit escape, and what I like to always do is look at your red arrows. Okay, so first of all, you see these rounded red arrows. That means that these lines are not horizontal or vertical anymore. They can be angled. So I'll show you let me just put the vertical constraint back on there. As soon as you see these rounded arrows, you know you need either vertical or horizontal. That means it can move the angle of that line. So I'm going to put a vertical constraint on there, and same thing with this line. So now we're down to only 2 dimensions needed. And now if you don't know how this is going to move, I can move this around. Do you see how the center of the circle is no longer vertical with the midpoints of this? That's because that midpoint of this line got taken off. So there are 2 options now. You could make this point be coincident with this line. So here, I'll show you what to do there. So I can pick the point, and I can pick a line, and it makes that point be on that line. And so now we're down to 1 dimension needed. I'm going to hit undo just so you see the other option for a constraint. The other option, which I think makes more sense to students typically, is I'm going to pick the vertical constraint. And with vertical, you can pick the line like we did before, or you can just pick 2 points, and it makes those 2 points always be vertical to each other. So I'll pick this midpoint up here, pick the center of the circle, and again, we're down to 1 dimension needed. So I'll just leave it like that. Again, if you don't know what is still free to move or why is it not constrained, click your sketch and drag it just to see how it changes. So why is this different? Let me turn off the red arrows so maybe you can see it. This used to be in the middle. If this circle was in the middle, this line and this line would be the same length, right? So the constraint you can use is the equal constraint. So I'm going to click equal, and I'm going to make these two lines be the same length, and that puts that circle right back in the middle of that part. All right, so what next? Now you need to draw the line going across again, from here over to there, and repeat everything you just did following along this video, but I'm not going to do it again. I want to see if you can figure out the horizontal one on your own. So that's it. Hopefully you can get the horizontal line all set. And we're done.